What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Riding the Wave. This is Aid.
MJ in the house, y'all better recognize.
And what do we got today for the fans, MJ?
Oh, today is gonna be a doozy.
Or it might even be a knockout. Let them know who we got.
We got my boy right here, the Bulldog, coming in at 6 foot, 170 pounds, undefeated amateur record.
Wait, repeat that. Undefeated?
Undefeated, ladies and gentlemen.
Love it.
We got Spencer Valenzuela. What's up, player?
What's up, MJ? Good to
What's
see you,
what's
man.
going on?
How you doing, Spencer? Welcome.
Thank you
And
guys
we
for
also,
having me.
with the fighter, we got to have the trainer,
Hey,
Flaco.
Flaco.
The coach.
Coach Flaco's in the
Legend.
house.
Coach Flaco's in the house, man. Hey, thank you guys for coming in and taking the time to speak with us, man. It's going to be a very great topic. I'm excited about this discussion. So let's go ahead and let's get started. But before we do that, let's do the cheers. Oh,
Cheers. We gotta
you
do
got
it.
your
It's
drinks over
water.
here?
We
We got-
all stay
all right,
healthy.
all
We
right,
gotta
all
stay
right.
warm. He's hydrated already.
I'm good.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what's your current like, guys? What's your current like?
Let's see, I just turned 40,
All right.
which is crazy.
How do you feel 40?
Physically, I feel a little 40, but like emotionally, spiritually, I feel great. Like I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. I'm getting married next Friday, so that's
Congratulations.
I guess I'm adulting now.
Better late that number, right?
All right. So on to the next match. It is.
Right.
How about you, Flaco?
I'll be 51 in October next month. I don't feel like I'm 50. You know, I feel great. I'm blessed. And just here, man, making it happen.
That's what's up. How about you, Aiden?
Oh man, definitely blessed. Literally, thank you guys. I want to give my shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for showing us, giving us this opportunity to get to know you guys, your story, and I'm excited for this. And I want to also give a shout out to New Life Community Church. We appreciate it. We're grateful for everything. And then Sergio, thank you. He's behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, but he's here.
Yeah, man. We just want to say thank you guys. Thank you to the church. Thank you to you for giving us this space to record, man. So thank you again.
Greatly appreciated.
All right.
Let's get into it.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Let's go. So you wanna pop it off?
Go ahead. You start off with the first.
All right, bro. So how long you been in the mixed martial arts or the combat sport?
So I started, over probably 20 years. I was a little bit of a knucklehead as a kid, so my mom put me in the youth boxing, youth wrestling right away. So then I got into jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, I kind of just grew from there. So like over 20 years at this point. I started probably when I was around 9 or 10, right? But then wanted to try to do it professionally or amateurly like in my 20s.
So the jiu-jitsu, what was the first combat sport that you did?
Well, it's funny because I was wrestling at the time, and I got in a fight with this other kid, and he did jiu-jitsu.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know it at the time, right? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take him down, I'm gonna beat him up. That was the game plan. I did secure the takedown, but the next thing you know, all my friends were waking me up. And I was like, I didn't understand what happened, right? Like, I had seen the early UFC stuff with Royce Gracie. So come to find out, this other kid trained with the Gracies. They were big for where I grew up at the time. The family was down in the South Bay. So after they woke me up, I was like choked out, unconscious pretty much. I ran up to the kid and was like, yo,
What's up? How did you do that?
And he was like taken back, like, we're not supposed to be cool, like, we just fought. And he's like, dude, I do jiu-jitsu. And I was like, jiu-jitsu, that's that Royce Gracie stuff, right? So that's what planted the seed. I had taken some classes. It didn't really stick at the time, right? But then as I got older, the first time I got sober, I was like, I need something to do. So that's when I really started training jiu-jitsu. And that was back in like 2003 or 2004.
Okay.
So that was my first experience, was getting choked out in a street fight. And I was hooked ever since then, you know. I needed to find out more, you know.
Do you remember your first fight?
I remember my first choke out, that's for sure. Yeah, it's like you're there and then it just gets dark and then you're not. And you're like, all right, you wake up. So
It's
definitely
like the
remember
computer
the
crashes.
Yes.
It's like,
You know what?
Down the dark tunnel you go.
I never got choked out, but like I started boxing when I was 15. I got into my first fight and I got lit. I got lit up, bro. And I got lit up in front of everybody, bro. In front of my brother, my dad. So it was embarrassing. And I was like, never again, man. I was like, never again. After that, I told my dad, like, I want to learn how to fight. And then he was like, all right, let's go. And then he introduced me to, it's called a Strata Boxing Gym in Palmdale. And after that, I didn't look back.
right.
All right. All right, so before the Bulldog came, Spencer, tell us a little bit about who Spencer Valenzuela is. A little bit of background, whatever you feel like sharing.
You know, man, I had an interesting childhood growing up. You know, I'm biracial. My dad's Mexican, my mom's white. So I like never really knew where I fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Are you like Irish?
Yeah, my mom is actually Irish. My grandma was born in London. So, and my mom grew up in London for a small period of time as a child before they moved over here. So I had those English roots and Irish roots, and then I had my Mexican side too. More not like first generation. We were like second generation, or I think I'm like third, fourth generation now. So it was like two different cultural differences, and at the time we were like living in Culver City back in the late 80s, which is totally different now. So like the neighborhood was a little too violent at the time, a lot of gang stuff going on. So my parents moved to the South Bay, which is like completely different, right? It's like completely white, surfer style. So growing up, I had this kind of conflict of like, who am I, you know? And I think that carried into my whole life. But where I felt most comfortable was like fighting. It was in some type of martial arts. Like I was comfortable in my own skin there. I felt like I fit in with people. Whereas like in elementary school or middle school, I got made fun of. Like I was never Mexican enough to be Mexican. And then all the white kids.
You're like Miklo then.
All the white kids would call me Beaner because of my last name, Valenzuela. You know what I mean? So it was like my only friend growing up was a Vietnamese kid because he was an outsider too. You know what I mean? So I really only ever found comfort in like that gym setting, you know, because none of that mattered then. Actually, it gave me a plus because I was half Mexican and Irish, so it was like, oh yeah, this guy's
You're a badass.
You can sling them.
You know what I mean?
How about you, Coach Flaco? Just give the audience a brief introduction of who you are, where were you brought up, how did you guys meet, and so forth.
I was born and raised in Boyle Heights. I started boxing at 10 years old. Loved the sport, fell in love, and then just kept going, man. Kept going, and I started coaching. I fell in love with coaching. Actually, I got sober also. So what I'm going to do in my life, I'm going to get sober and I'm going to start coaching.
Good for you.
The gift that I have, you know, talent that I have, used it, started coaching, and Spencer ran into my life. Now I'm running a boxing gym, amateur boxing gym, Lincoln Heights Youth Center. Great fighters, taking them off the streets, you know, and building their confidence, anti-bullying, just helping them out, you know. So when I met Spencer, you know, we actually met at a gym, right, at an LAKO gym. We met there, and he was coaching, I was coaching. And all of a sudden, we just, you know, started, you know, talking about sobriety and, you know, sober people, hang around with sober people because we know, you know, we feel the same way, you know, we help each other out, you know, one day at a time. And here we are, man. Look, you know, now I'm coaching the champ here and got 2 belts in 1 year. You know, this guy's a beast, man.
Man, I love it. We
definitely, yeah.
You know,
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to tune in to Riding the Wave because we are going to be having Coach Flaco and dig deeper into, you know, he's been through, and the struggles and how he persevered through them. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll definitely dive in deeper with that, Flaco, if you're willing. We'd love to have you back.
That's right. Thank you. I'll be here.
For sure.
So Spence, once you got into the boxing gym, how did you know like this is something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had this deep.
Passion of hitting people in the face. No?
I mean, I don't know. It's crazy, man. I think a big part. Can I share something with you guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is actually a reason why I wanted to get into boxing. Was on my Irish side, my English side. My great grandpa was the lightweight champion of the UK pre World War II.
Okay, so
So
this is
like
back in the-
1930s,
Yeah.
leading up into the 40s. So growing up at my grandma's house, she had his gloves, his championship belt, these old trading cards you used to get on cigarettes. So I remember looking at that as a kid, like, I want to honor, like I felt it in my DNA, like I don't know if it's going to be boxing or whatever, but I knew I wanted to fight. I loved movies like Bloodsport, or like Kickboxer with Van Damme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So here's actually
Sweep the leg, homie. Sweep the leg.
so that I knew I always had an interest in it before I even stepped on the mat or in a ring. I'd always be pretending to fight and spin kick in the mirror, doing weird stuff. You know, getting weird by myself. But I had this history in front of me of my great grandfather, and then on my dad's side, on my Mexican American side, my grandpa was a boxer during World War II in the Marines. He'd fight the Navy on ships, and so it's like in my blood. I feel like I had
right.
It was destined.
It was a calling almost. So I brought this picture, and it's of my great grandpa, Teddy Baker, doing 23-minute rounds.
23-minute
rounds.
23-minute rounds.
1924.
Turn it around.
Just
Check
That's
that
like
out.
some old school
This is history right here, ladies and
history
gentlemen.
right there.
It sure is.
That's
thought
when you
guys
know
would
it's in the
appreciate
blood.
that. I'm showing that to you, right,
Oh,
Coach?
thanks.
Oh man.
Thanks for bringing that in, bro.
Yes.
So
Definitely. Thanks for sharing
that was a
that.
big reason for me wanting to transfer or switch over and compete and fight in boxing. It was like to carry on my lineage,
Right.
to make him proud.
It's in the blood, homie. It's in the blood.
But once I got into the gym, like I realized, this one isn't for everybody. Like when you're really sparring with guys that know how to fight, it's like
Yeah, it's intimidating. Yeah.
it's intimidating. Like you get punched
And it hurts.
for the first time correctly. You're like, whoa, like that this isn't what I expected. But something deep inside me, I don't want to say I'm tough or anything, but there was like a void I was trying to fill when I was younger of something, like I wasn't good enough or something like that I was trying to get out in the gym. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Seeking validation almost, like, but in the gym setting, not out in the streets or something like that.
Yeah.
So during your training, like what's going through your mind? What's on? Are you focused on like stuff that you've been going through to utilize that energy to motivate you in your training and push you farther, or are you thinking about technique? Like what's going on in your head?
I think, mentally, as far as my mental state of mind, knowing everything I've been through in my life leading up to say these belts or my fights, like I knew I was a dog. I had the dog in me, so I knew that wasn't a question. Like I knew I was tough. I knew I could hang. So when we are in the lab, when I am in the gym with Flaco, we're working on the technical stuff because I know I can be violent. I know I hit hard, but there's so much more
More layers to the
right?
the sport.
Especially as you spar with better guys and you spar with pros, it's like you realize there's levels to this, and you just can't go in there trying to throw haymakers and knock them out. Like you have to condition yourself mentally to go round after round, prepare yourself for a tough fight, to get hit in the face, to hit them in the face, because there's also a part of you having to mentally wrap your head around like hurting this person, right? Like it's not in our nature to hurt someone, right? Like so I have to wrap my head around like I gotta put this person down for real. So it's like when we are sparring and we're doing the heavy rounds, sometimes I gotta put my sparring partners down, right? I don't want to. I love my sparring partners. Like I'm nothing without them, and I'm not trying to hurt them, you know. But I know for the fight, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's not sparring anymore.
Yeah, because they're trying to hurt you.
They're trying to hurt you. So it's like there's a lot of different mental aspects that you have to accept and be ready for it, you know?
Okay.
Because the physical's there. Like, we put in the work, right? Physically, that's all there. But I feel like when it actually comes to the fight, it's all
Mental.
It's all upstairs.
I mean, that's life. Life is, as we all know,
Right.
it's all mental. You
Mental
know, so.
fight, yeah.
Do you remember the first time you sparred, and
Oh,
what
yeah.
and what was the first experience of like getting socked in the face?
I'll say this. I remember my first time sparring with a pro.
Okay.
Okay, because I had sparred with other amateurs, like with kickboxing and stuff like that. But I remember my first time sparring with a pro. He's actually a good friend of mine today. His name's Bomba. He fought in the UFC, fought in Bellator. He's retired now. But my first sparring session was with him. I actually still have video of it. And oh my God, I go back, I look like a bobblehead, dude, just getting bobbled around. Like, I remember the first time he kicked me in the calf, I was like, oh my God, this is way different than sparring with an amateur.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it really made me question, do I really want to continue
It humbled you in a sense.
pursue this? But you know what, I look back on those days where I sparred with pros and yeah, I got my butt kicked, right? But I draw on that now. Like our last fight in the third round, it was a tough fight. I was breathing heavy. My legs were tired. I remember just being like, oh yeah, I've sparred with these guys, you know, and this guy is not this guy or those guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's giving me that confidence to push through, you know, sparring with those kinds of guys.
All right. And how long does it take you when you're in a fight to know what technique or how you're gonna approach the fight? Like,
Well, we game plan.
there you go, the game plan.
It doesn't always go to plan like the last fight.
right.
But what did Mike Tyson say? Everybody has a plan until they get hit.
See, he's always
There you go.
confusing me though, because he tells me we're gonna do this, and that.
Yeah.
But don't leave it in the judge's hands. So, like,
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
We'll get
Yes.
one of the last fights, we had a game plan. Simple, come out, jab him to the body, open him up. And then right before the fight, I usually don't look at too much tape on the guys, right? Beforehand, because I don't like to get in my head or... But I didn't like this guy. We were at the weigh-in. I'm like, I don't like this guy. Let me check out his Instagram. So he had some videos on Instagram, and I was like, oh shit, he's really slow. I'm just gonna counter him, which was not the game plan.
You're right.
So even though we got the second round TKO, he was not happy afterwards, dude. It was like, what the hell was that?
So coach,
You don't listen to me.
Oh, when they don't follow the script.
yeah. So why were you bothered by Spence when he won the fight, coach? Like, isn't that the name of the game?
He could have looked pretty. I like to technique, baby. Look pretty, look smooth in there. This guy don't got nothing on you.
Right.
But this guy goes out there, different plan, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro? the bell rings, his second round comes in, he's with me, and I go, pop, bro. What are you doing? Stick to the game plan.
Where's the jab?
Where's the jab? Set him up, dude. He ain't got nothing on you. You know, just that's what it is. You know, when I see that this guy has so much talent and could take this guy out, just outbox him, bro. Look pretty in the score, you know. Special points. You know, do the butterfly, do the Muhammad Ali shuffle. You know, mess around with him. You know?
Have fun.
Have fun because he has there's no competition. You know, so that's what I see. You know. And then when he didn't follow that game, but it's all good. We took him out in the second round, which is good.
That's good, yeah.
You know?
We have a higher standard, you know?
Yeah. So, Coach Flaco, what is it that you seen in Spencer when he first came into that Lincoln Heights boxing or wherever you guys first met? How did you know this is the guy I wanna start training?
Man, the dedication, man. I would get there and he would already be warming up, dripping in sweat, wrapped up, ready to go. I love that. You know, I don't have to tell him anything. Why aren't you sweating? Why aren't you not? What's this? He was already ready to go, dedicated. He was just thinking positive all the time, and then the dog was coming out little by little. Just every time I set up sparring, I got sparring. He'll never say with who, so he'll just say, bring him down. Let's go. You know, even though the guy was bigger, smaller, even it doesn't matter. He just I just knew he had that confidence in him and all the dog in him. And from there, I love that. You know, I love it because I know he's gonna go out there and give it 100. Like I'm gonna go in there and give it 100. He's gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna come out
On top.
victorious, baby. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. And do you think when you do see fights, coach, like you said, you already knew this was gonna be, you know, something not too tough of a fight for Spencer. Would you rather use those fights as like more training for him to work on his techniques and?
Exactly. It's a lot of defense, slipping, making them look silly, counter punching. You know, move out the way. Yeah, but it's a good experience. You know, it's a
Okay,
good
definitely.
experience, you know, yeah.
All right, bro. So, Spencer, what made you want to compete? Like, at what point we're like, you're in the boxing gym, you're like, all right, I want to take this to the next level.
Right. It's crazy starting an amateur boxing career at 39. Right? Like it's totally backwards,
Yep,
right?
right.
It's like you said, you started when you were 15 or younger, right? Look at all the kids you train, like they're young.
5, 7, yeah.
Yeah, like totally backwards for me, right? But I knew, early on, like I said, I knew I always wanted to fight and compete, right? But I had a lot of fear, and I'll be honest, I had a lot of fear. I was scared, right? I had addiction issues that also played in or factored in. And the other thing too is like I was injured a lot. Like doing the MMA training, on a pro team was like constantly injured, right? So by the time I got to this, I was coming off a knee injury. So like I always wanted to say go pro, right? Like that was always a dream of mine. Go pro, fight in Japan. Like I had this big dream, but I was too scared to actually like go for it, because.
But did you have like a good like a mentor like Flaco, like in your corner saying like, bro, like we got this? Like
I had coaches over the years, right? And having a good coach, a great coach, is a huge sense of confidence and like to have someone believe in you, right? And I came from these gyms, and it's not that the coaches were bad technically, or like it's so much more than that as a coach. It just, they were telling me like, oh, why don't you want to fight? They call you a name, like a derogatory name.
Yeah,
Don't be this, don't be that.
Right.
Like they never gave me the confidence. And every time I was gearing up for one, I got hurt. Like the last one, I blew my knee out, right? So that was 2 years removed from when I met Flaco. So I was in this, I don't know what to do, right? Like, I don't know if I should just give up training. Like, this dream of mine's not happening. I'm getting older, right? I'm injured all the time. So by the time I met Flaco, there had been time removed from the last team I was on, and we kind of started putzing around, right? Like, we had met, we were working the same job at a boxing club, and we hit it off, right? We started kind of messing around on the mitts. I was getting healthy again. My knee was healing. And then we got to a point where he was like, yo, I'm a competitive coach. What are we doing here? Like he saw something in me, right? So that gave me the confidence to be like, all right, you know what? I've wasted X amount of years in fear, addiction. Now is go time. Like there's no more time to waste.
Yeah.
I'm 38, I'm 39. The time is now. So, like I said, having a great coach, they give you that confidence to step in the ring and be like, hey, you got this, because a lot of the time you're in your head, right? I can't do this. Oh my God, this guy's tall, or this guy,
he's
guy
big,
looks like he hits hard.
Yeah.
And your coaches are, hey, don't worry about it. Like this is what we train for, And then that bell rings and the training takes over.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that fear goes out the window.
Yeah, because like a good coach is not only about the training, but it's also like he's like your life coach.
Right.
Like he's the anchor to you.
Right.
When you feel like you're sinking, he's the one that pulls you back on that lifeboat.
Right.
And that's what gives you like the confidence that you need. Because I understand exactly what you're talking about. Because when they belittle you, some of us like that's not how we operate. Some
Right.
people,
You don't want to hear that when you're trying to fight,
right,
they're calling
exactly.
you a derogatory name.
Yeah.
Like this ain't helping me out here.
And as a dude, it's like we're supposed to be tough and like, but it's sometimes we shut down. Not everybody's programmed in that. For some people, maybe like you, maybe someone talking that way to you will fire you up, but then another person does the opposite. You know, so
And yeah, and I'm sure you're already in a fight with yourself mentally before you actually get into the ring, you know? So that's a fight that you have to deal with already before, you know, and having Coach Flaco or somebody to motivate you, no, you'll be all right. To keep you calm. I'm sure that's the best advice that you can get and the best coach that, you know.
Yeah, the confidence, like, you know, like he was talking about.
It's amazing.
He sets up my sparring sessions, right? And in your head, you're like, oh my God, I don't know, like what? But I've never lost confidence in him. He's never set me up to, you know, I have competitive sparring. I'm not trying to say that sparring's not competitive, but he's never set me up to where there's something I can't handle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like even if I'm getting lumped up, like I'm still in there, I'm still active, I'm still in it, right?
Yeah.
But he's never put me in a situation where I get like, you know.
in a dangerous spot, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, that's cool, man. It's motivating because it's definitely like it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. You know,
That's right.
especially, you know, what you're going through and you're talking about, people talk about, oh, I'm too old for that. No, you're not. This is proof right here, you know, like undefeated champion right here. Like that shows a lot what you're capable of doing as long as you put your mindset to it.
Right.
and that stigma goes, man. Age is just a number, man. Because look,
Age is just a number.
look at 40 years old, you got 2 bouts, bro.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Like, this is a testament for a lot of people out there who are watching this, and they're saying, I can't finish school, or I can't finish doing this. Like, nah, I hope this is a testament, like, no, you can, you know?
Yes.
I hear
And
you.
and medals in mixed martial arts. So go ahead, everybody, zoom in on this. You know, take a look at it. Definitely.
You know, it's funny because I'm a personal trainer, and I hear that all the time. I'm old, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, you know, people just, they destroy themselves by having that self-limitation, you know? And the funny thing is you know, he tells me one day, hey, we gotta meet in Santa Fe Springs for a little light sparring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, great, I'll be there. So I show up and it's like a show. It's like an unsanctioned show. And I'm like,
Light sparring.
first thing, I pull up, there's a line out the door.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's Flaco? All this, the fear kicks in. How could he do this to me? What the hell? He set me up. And then I see him. I'm like, yo, coach, what is it? I'm like, is this a smoker? He's like, just sparring. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like we build stuff up in our head so much. But the funny thing is I walk in there and there's all these young guys. I'm clearly the oldest guy in there. Right? By probably what, like 15 to 20 years? I walk in there and everyone's staring at me. I totally feel awkward, out of place. So they match me up right there and they're like, they just start calling me the viejo. They're like, go get, I was in the back warming up. They're like, go get viejo.
That far. Bring out the secret weapon.
Hey, but you roughed them up too.
We did, yeah. We represented for Lincoln Heights, Team Flaco.
Yeah.
And like again, it's always up here, man.
Yeah, no, life's mental. So let's talk about your first amateur fight. Hey, can you walk us through that? What was that like?
So yeah, for boxing, it was out in Vegas. It was for the USA Masters boxing tournament. It was my first time actually doing a sanctioned boxing fight. Right, I'd usually just done smokers, right?
And what are, just for the audience, what are smokers?
Smokers are like unsanctioned kind of shows. They hold at gyms. You show up. They match you up right there based off your weight and your fight record. And then, you know, there's lawn chairs. People are watching right in the front. And it's like a little show pretty much, but it's just not sanctioned.
So it's like an expedition.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, this was my first boxing fight, USA Masters, Las Vegas. That's where I got the red belt there. Definitely, you know, we trained hard for it. I fractured my nose the last week of sparring before the fight.
So sensitive. It was
Yeah.
super sensitive, bro.
So I was tripping out a little bit, but I knew I had good cardio. You know, I knew we trained hard, so I was ready no matter what. I was going to fight no matter what. So we show up. It's a tournament, so you're supposed to fight twice in 2 days. So we showed up. We weighed in. I had a little bit of trouble with my weight cut. I weighed in on point, but it was a little tighter than I wanted it to be. So I was like sucking on ice cubes the night before, spitting out the water. Like couldn't have any liquid before weigh-ins. So we get there, we weigh in, and they're like, your opponent's not here yet. He has till, I think they gave him like a 2-hour window to weigh in, right?
Okay.
So we're like, oh man, we did all this work and not even gonna be able to fight. Like this guy better show up. So we show back up and they're like, he's a no-show.
Yeah.
We show up, nothing.
That was Saturday.
That was Saturday. So I was really bummed. He held me up. He's like, look, you caught a first round bye. It's not what we wanted. I wanted to go in there and get that smoke. I wanted.
Right.
So question. So like if the guy doesn't show up, right? Is it automatic dub for you, and then you move on to the next?
That's it.
Right.
Okay.
They DQ your opponent, and then you move on to the next day. So we moved on to Sunday, and the same thing happened to my opponent. So he kind of got screwed Saturday too, So Sunday we weighed in, shook hands, let's put on a show. I felt good, like I was intense, right? I think we had to put everyone on check. Everyone was kind of staring at me, because I'm like, again, I'm not here to be mediocre or average. Like I got into this to be the best I could be and to accept my greatness, and seize my moment. And I came in shape. I came prepared, and I wasn't gonna let anything stop me or my nose or anything. So. We got in that ring and I knocked him out in the second round.
There's that second round again. Got that second round knockout. How many times?
I hit him with a good uppercut and it was over.
Were you upset about that knockout, Coach Flaco?
Oh, it was good.
Did he look pretty on that one?
I didn't even celebrate it too early. I jumped in the ring and shit. I'm still giving them an 8 count.
Oh, that's right. We got an 8 count at the end of the first. We didn't realize it.
Oh, okay.
So Flaco jumped in the ring and they were like screaming at him, get out of the ring.
We could have got disqualified for that too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's all good, man.
And then it's gonna be Coach Flaco be the one like, hey, bro, what happened, Coach? Like, I got too excited.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because the guy, and he was game, all due to respect to all my opponents, right? Like I respect all my opponents, and he came prepared. They came ready to fight. And he had his whole family in the front, man. How many? Everybody, his kids.
All the Redballs there.
And he looked at me.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much.
Yeah.
And I had a little group. I had my family there too,
Yeah.
but not as many. He took up the first 5 rows, him and his family.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he's like, shut them up, and I felt bad. I started ripping off some heavy combinations on him, and I could hear his kids. In the front.
How did that make you feel? Like, how does that make you feel when you're there? Like, I mean, you're doing what you gotta do, but like,
it's hard, man. Like, because I got family there too, and I tell myself, like, I always constantly have to remind myself what I'm fighting for as a fighter. Like, I feel like that's important. You have to know who and what you're fighting for. Right, because why get in the ring, right? You just don't get in there to get in there. Like you could get hurt, right? So, I had my fiance there. I fight for her and my family and my coach and my bulldog. I have my little bulldog, right? So it's like that's all on my mind. Like I'm not gonna be embarrassed in front of them. I'm not gonna let myself get hurt in front of them. So unfortunately, it's kill or be killed, samurai style, but I hurt his kids, and it did make me feel bad. I could hear him in the moment, but I just said, God, forgive me.
Forgive me what I'm about to do.
We're choosing violence today, and you know what? He was okay after the knockout. I went and gave him a big hug. I went and apologized to his family. I said, I'm sorry,
I wanted to make it quick for you guys, so I took him out in the second round.
It is what it is, though.
Yeah, it is, definitely. But yeah, I mean, definitely shout outs to every warrior that's willing to step into the ring, I mean, it's not easy. It's not, I used to box when I was younger as well. And then when I took my first kidney shot and I went down and like, it was really hard. my very first one, yeah, I broke out into tears. Like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
This is different.
I had no control of myself. I just went down to the floor. I didn't even know what to do. I just looked for my coach, my trainer, like, what do? I can't move. But yeah, definitely shout out to all the warriors that step into the ring.
Definitely.
Well, it's funny that you talked about his family being in the front row, because I remember vividly my first amateur fight. I was all excited. I had called all my family, even my boss went, bro, and my job. And so we're weighing in. I see my opponent, and just like you said, I was in my head. It was a big guy, you know, and I was. You know, the moment you go into the ring, how sometimes you're already lost, because your mind's already. So I already knew in my mind. I'm like, damn, I lost, right? And when I was warming up, I just felt tired because of the nerves, and I never experienced that before. I never experienced that before. That was the first time where I'm like, why? What's wrong with me? Like, why am I so tired? Like, I would run miles, like, with a weight vest, like around the Rose Bowl, nothing. And yeah, so it was different. Bell goes off, and this dude lit me up, right? Lit me up in front of and I remember that the second round, my coach Fausto was like, "Come on, like your family's here, like trying to like pump me up, bro." But it's not working, bro. I looked at my family, I was like, "I'm sorry." And sure enough, the second round comes, and like. The referee just stops it after that. And it was embarrassing, bro. It was embarrassing. But one thing my coach told me that, he's like, I really did like about you, the next day, you showed up. You showed back up. You know, so yeah, man. So I could imagine, bro, like when you're competing, bro, it's different from every sport when it comes to basketball, football, because you're with a team.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, so you have people
Teamwork,
the teamwork. When you're a fighter, it's just you.
It's lonely. It's a lonely sport. You're doing miles by yourself unless you got your teammates or.
You're pumping yourself up.
Right.
You know.
I think there's something to be said for that too. Again, to the mental thing, is like I've seen guys in the gym that are killers. You're like, oh my god, this guy's a killer. I hate sparring this guy, because I don't think I'm the best in the gym by far. Not even. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm one of the worst in the gym, right? But then you take that guy that's a killer in the gym and you put him in that real setting, and you see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason.
It's mentally.
And
Do you think it just takes continuous, like doing it over and over to where you finally just get out of your head, like, all right, it's just another day now. It's just another.
You're satisfied.
You know, it's funny for me because like competing early on in jiu-jitsu, smokers, and striking, I lost so much, man. I swear to God, I don't think I won a jiu-jitsu competition until I was like a brown belt, dude. You know what I mean? I just lost over and over and over.
And it killed that spirit, though, huh?
And
like, damn.
hard, yeah, it's like, but like you said, I kept showing up. And now look, it's like all those years of losing and just showing up has come to fruition. You know, like I never gave up on it. You know, no matter how dire it seemed, I wanted to quit. I just never quit. I kept it pushing, man.
Right, but even with the loss, there's still experience there. There's still knowledge.
Right,
there's still things that you learn, and there's still things that you take in to make you that much better of a fighter, and to also show up, like you're saying. You know, that's amazing. Being in boxing and mixed martial arts, how much more do you feel like discipline? You know, when it comes to like controlling your emotions, your anger, your thoughts.
Definitely, because I'm a very undisciplined person outside of the gym. I'll be honest. You know, like with my addiction, right? My addictions in the past, food, whatever it is. Like I've always been undisciplined, right? But when I enter the gym, I know that self-discipline is the ultimate self-care for whatever sport I'm doing, whether it's jiu-jitsu or boxing, right? Like. Again, it comes back to that, like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I've lost so many times, and I've been embarrassed, and like...
And you're an athlete. You want to stay in shape. You want to stay focused, you know? You don't want to slack off a week or two, gain 20 pounds, say, fuck, don't you know, I gotta get back, lose 20. Why 20 pounds?
Like, I stay lean between the fights now.
You don't know what's going to come through, you know what happened. I'll probably have some sparring for you in a week, you know, and... just stay focused, stay in shape, stay, you know.
Because I've had those experiences where I was going out for a submission wrestling competition at the UFC Expo in Vegas. This is years ago.
Okay.
And the night before, me and my boy who did it, we competed together. We're drinking beers on the way to Vegas. You know, doing blow. You know, I'll be honest. On the way to Vegas, the night before the competition, stayed up all night in Vegas. Showed up hungover and competed hungover.
Oh,
and I remember the
man.
guy just double leg slammed me on the mat as hard as he could, and I was just let there go, oh God, why?
It's like when Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas
in Tokyo.
in Tokyo, partying all up all night with the ladies. Okay, so let's talk about the belts, man. All right. What was it like winning? Which one's the first belt that you won?
So this was the first one. That was the one where I had the one fight.
What month was that, champ?
That was February.
That was in February 2024.
2024.
So what do these belts like mean to you, bro? What do they represent for you?
You know, they represent sacrifice, dedication, you know, suffering, like everything I've put in into the work leading up to because the fight's the fun part, right? It's everything else leading up to that sucks. It's not fun, you know. Like I said, going into this fight with my nose fractured, not being able to breathe properly, you know what I mean. So to fight through that adversity, you know, and win meant the world, right? But I did feel a little slighted on this one because I did want 2 fights in 2 days, you know. I wanted to be pushed, you know.
Right.
I really wanted to be pushed hard to like where I'm questioning why am I in this ring, and that happened with this belt.
Yeah.
So that was great. That was like
So this was 2023?
2024.
Oh,
These
okay,
are
so-
both from this year.
Oh, okay. Damn, 2 belts in 1 year.
February and what was this? July,
July?
right? Or no, August. The first week of August.
Yeah, first week of August.
And Coach Flaco, how proud are you, or how proud were you when you seen your fighter with these belts?
I was very proud. I even told him on the way up there, I go, if you don't bring back that belt, bro, you know what? I'm taking a Greyhound back.
I thought he was supposed to take the Greyhound. You get the good ride.
Oh, man, that's gonna be a long drive.
Yeah, bro. I want you coming back with the belt.
Yeah.
I'm just proud. I knew, you know what? I just knew he was coming back with the champ. I just knew that I seen it, like in a dream, I seen it already wrapped around his waist, man. I already knew. I just knew because, like I said, this guy was always at the gym, calling me, sending me distance. You know, when you're running, oh, coach, I ran 4 miles. Coach, here it is, coach. You know, I sparred 3 rounds today, or 5 rounds, 6 rounds. And I'm like, you know, he's doing his homework. I'm doing classwork with him when I work with him, and then he does his homework, A+. So I said, you know what? I knew he deserves it. It was his all the time. You know?
Nice.
No, I was just soaking that in because I mean, getting 2 belts in 1 year, 2024. You know, that's amazing. That's great. You know, I'm happy for you. You know, and
Thank you.
I'm ready to see the rest of your journey. You know, I'm excited for it.
So talk us into that fight prep. How do you prep your fighter once he's getting ready to fight? Like what is it you guys? How do you guys get the game plan as far as nutrition, sparring, running, and so forth? I mean, you don't have to reveal the complete playbook, you know.
Secrets.
The secrets.
Yeah.
You don't have to give the secret sauce.
Yeah.
You give the recipe.
For this guy, since he's a viejito, viejo, he knows already. He's been there. He's done that. He's a martial arts fighter, so he knows what it takes to make weight. He knows how it feels to be dehydrated, to feel out of shape. He knows. So to me, it was for him. It was basically easy for me, because it was all his conditioning was all him. Like honestly, like the mental maybe, and the positive, and the come on, you gotta do it, let's go. That was me. But more of the nutrition and stuff like that, he had it all. And then I could see him dropping weight, looking from from like chiseling and looking in shape, dropping. I said, oh man, now you look like a fighter, champ.
Right.
Now you're ready.
Right.
You know, that's how I see it. You know.
And if you ever notice, like your fighter isn't game ready, do you pull the plug and say, you know what? Nah, we're not doing this.
He does not hold back.
Now what
He'll
about
let you know.
hungover?
Yeah, I don't hold back. He knows, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I've seen him
great.
do it with teammates. You know, you're not ready. You know, and they get all huffy and puffy and blah blah blah. But he's right. That's why he's our coach. You know,
Right.
he's not here to just blow smoke up everybody. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you ready now? Like,
You're sparring. You're only gonna give me 1 round, 2 rounds of sparring. What is that? You got other kids coming from, or other fighters coming from other gyms, so you can just do 1 round, 2 rounds.
So typically, when you're prepping for a fight, how many rounds do you guys typically do for sparring? Or
for this belt, the recent one, I stopped counting at
Yeah.
over 60 rounds.
dang.
Yeah.
60 rounds
Yeah.
total.
But we're talking about in one training session or just like
Oh.
in training camp?
all training camp.
Training camp.
There you
Okay.
This belt we kind of did reverse from this belt. 'cause
Yeah, right?
This belt we started with a lot of pad work, you know,
Oh, yeah, a lot of that.
technical stuff, and then got into the sparring later in camp. But for this belt,
Damn.
we started off hot, just sparring from the jump with different cats, and which was good though because a lot of these cats I'm sparring with are younger than me. Some of them are
Yeah.
like almost 25 years younger than me.
Right.
You know, they're on the verge of maybe going pro
Right.
down in Mexico. They're 17,
National
right?
champions.
National-
and-
So, Coach Flaco, what is the importance of sparring for these fighters? Because I know there's certain fighters they don't really like sparring or things like that. I think it was like I don't know a UFC fighter, Max Holloway,
Yeah.
and he didn't spar.
Oh, wow.
He didn't spar throughout his whole training camp.
Sparring is good. It just builds up your confidence. It builds up your confidence. It helps you with your stamina. It helps you with your
Mental.
just
man.
mental,
Yeah,
man.
mental.
Just parry, catch, slip. Defense, offense. Just you know, you're getting banged up in there. And first round, you're getting banged up by this guy. And the bell rings. You come back to the corner. You talk to your coach. I see what's going on, bro. You're dropping your hand too much. You're doing this too much. Or you know, just get in there. Relax. Whatever's bothering you, just let it go. Forget about it. Just get in there and finish the sparring session, man. You know, it's all in the mind, man. Like we
Yeah.
all say, it's all in the mind, and just stay ready. Stay ready at all times, man.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, I can see it and feel it already that you're a great coach. And you know, from what Spencer is saying, and also
you.
because you are gonna tell your fighters what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You know, and I'm that type of person as well. I need somebody to tell me what I'm doing. Like, you're doing that wrong, and don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat it. Like, let me know so I can fix it
There you
instead
go.
of sugarcoat it, and then I'm not getting
The results.
the results and what I really need to hear to make me progress.
Yeah,
and
take care of your fighter. You know, don't throw him in there with the beast. Don't throw him in there with somebody, you know, because you don't want them to lose their confidence, too. Yeah, you don't want them. You know, you want them an even
Gradually,
match.
right? You gradually,
Yeah, gradually.
you're
okay.
molding them.
So MJ didn't take care of his fighter. His first amateur fight.
So let's talk about how did you find the Lincoln Heights gym? Like what? Were you going to different gyms? Because I know, like honestly, when I moved from Palmdale to out here, it took me a minute to find like that gym.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, man. I mean, we had met at the boxing gym we were working at, and you know we were getting down, working together, and then he left
Yeah.
to do his thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you know, like I really love work because we hit it off on so many levels. He's sober, I'm sober. There was a lot of different levels and layers for us that we hit it off. You know, like I felt comfortable with him, and I think that's, like you said, it's a gym is not just a gym. Like if you're really trying to fight and
Yeah.
pursue competition, like you gotta love where you train, right? You
It's
gotta
like the
love-
Three Little Bears, dog. You got to find that
Right.
that right pudding, you know?
Exactly. And I felt like I didn't have that for like a long time. Even though like I was part of a team, a pro team for a while, doing MMA and stuff. It was like, and some of those guys are my brothers. I still talk to them to this day. We train together. It just like the vibe was just not there. You know what I mean? And then I was coming off that knee injury, so I was like, my fight career's over, it's done, you know. And then we met, and he lit the flame, like he lit that spark again, you know, gave me the confidence to do it. So when he left, I followed him. He's like, I'm at Lincoln Heights, so that's where I went, you know. And then I've been there ever since. And then, you know, my teammates there. I love all my teammates. They're in there grinding with me, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Devin Landsberg.
Devin.
He's another face in the gym, and that guy, he shows up. We're spot, dude. How many rounds have we done together? He's the one who broke my nose. You know, without that guy, I wouldn't be successful. You feel me? Without him, it's not me in the ring. Maybe I'm the one fighting, but there's so much more to it, man. And it's not just you know, the guys that I spar with, like Sergio's in there too. We're having conversations.
Hey,
you know?
so that's what I ask you. So have you ever sparred with Sergio?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Sergio hits like a donkey. You know what I mean? Just having that. Look, Sergio's not trying to go pro, but it don't matter. The fact that he's in there working with us, getting punched in the face, maybe.
When you don't have to, right? When he doesn't even have to do
you
that.
You have to step in there with
You're
us.
a weirdo, Sergio. You I like it though.
You know, maybe he's getting outclassed in the ring, but he's still tough. You know, like he's still in there, hanging in there. And like again, I'm not trying to hurt my training partners. You know, so it's like he's working, I'm working. We're all getting better together. Is what I'm trying to say. You know, it's like that saying, it takes a village, right? I feel like that's the same in boxing. It's like you have all these pieces you need to be successful. You know, in the ring.
Yeah, no, honestly, bro, because that's what I do miss. Ever since I had my son, so I stopped going to the gym and I moved and so forth. Now I just work out a regular gym, but like man, like I miss the unity. I miss the family. I miss where everybody's just talking, chopping it up. That family unity. You know, when you go into a regular gym, it's like everybody's just so like antisocial, doesn't want to. If you say hi to someone or you say hi to a girl, everybody thinks they're trying to hit on them, and it's like, you know, it's just I do miss that, man, and that's the one thing that like any martial arts gym, jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever, you know, you guys, it's a close fit of people, because it's going into like a boxing gym where you're gonna get punched in the face. That's not normal. So like. It takes a very odd person to want to go into the boxing gym and get punched and just be okay with it. You know, not hold feelings, not hold grudges, and then to come back and ask for more and do it more. So it's when those people come to the gym, you're not dealing with just ordinary people, man. Right. Not to say these people are crazy. It's just they're on different levels mentally.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a beautiful thing.
It's just what like you said. You walked into Lincoln Heights and it just feels like you're at a boxing
It felt
gym.
like home, you know, like.
And you're at a gym, a real boxing. It just feels good.
And it's a church. It's an old church. It's not even a traditional, in the traditional sense of a boxing gym. But it was like anyone I brought in there, like my boy Nacho, they walk in, they're like, oh, this is actually like really cool. You know what I mean?
You know what's so funny? I used to box at the prison, the old jail.
A lot of us fought there. Everybody mentions it.
Yeah, bro.
It's famous.
Were you there? Were you?
I was there too.
Yeah. I started boxing there probably maybe 2000. Oh, early 2000s, bro. I was probably like 2005, 2006. Yeah, man.
I was there in 90, 91, 92, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I was
there a
when
couple
those-
times. They had the
yeah.
bags in the cells.
They actually had all the equipment in the cells.
Go all the way to the top floor.
It was a very odd gym, bro.
You want to keep boxing or being in the cell? Like, decisions.
Yeah, so that's I didn't know until Sergio told me that they switched locations. They moved from there to the one in Lincoln Heights. So Flaco, so let me ask you, what does boxing mean to you, and what does boxing mean to you when you're training these young kids?
Man, to me, it's boxing is. That's my life, man. That's my life. It's that's all I got, you know. The talent, the gift that the Lord gave me, you know, as a kid too, growing up, starting at 10 years old, you know. From there on, just winning golden gloves, silver gloves, blue and gold, PAL tournaments, the nationals. I was ranked in the nationals. 16 years old. Man, I remember I was 16 years old, weighing at 112, bro. Imagine that, 112.
What is that, like bantamweight?
That is, yeah, bantamweight.
Bantamweight. That's like the lowest, no? Is that the lowest?
Featherweight, you got, yeah, no, feather 125. Yeah, that's like, no, the lowest is 106 pounds, or maybe 104. Man, but yeah, just boxing to me is, like I said, man, I grew up with De La Hoya. I grew up with Chicanito Hernandez. I grew up with Manomero Paez. All the great fighters, man, you know, and did a little sparring with a lot of pros, man, and it just helped me out. And I said, you know what? I gotta help out, man. I gotta do something, you know. So here I am, man. You know, taking care of these kids, man. That I wanna. Hopefully, we got an Olympic hopeful coming up, 2028. You know.
Nice.
Oh, that's Lennon, right?
Lennon,
we coming after you next, all right? You're gonna be
Lennon
next.
and
Right?
Negrito Sosa.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
Man, that kid.
I learned from him. That's what I'm saying. Like, he has such a good thing going on there with these kids, man. And the proof is in the pudding, bro.
Yeah.
Lennon, how was Lennon?
He's
15.
I
He'll be
watched,
16.
I watched Lennon and learned from him. I seen him take out grown men.
Really?
Yeah.
Grown men. Beat him down. Like it's nothing. You know, and just that's how good our little familia is there right now.
Yeah, it's
the Lincoln
really
Heights
good,
team.
man.
It's like very tight knit, you know. When outsiders come in, we're like, who are you? Why are you here?
Right.
Yeah.
But we're cool, right, Sergio? Like,
Yeah, I tell them,
We're
look,
not
we're gonna
really-
have outsiders. We're gonna have Echo Park. We're gonna have another gym come down, spar with us. They're coming to our house. Send them home bleeding, bro.
Represent.
Send them home. Let's represent. You know, because when we go somewhere else too, that's what they think too.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what it is. But yeah, man, I'm just blessed with a great team right now, and I'm staying sober and I'm staying active and I'm doing my footwork and I'm just, you know, I'm doing what the Lord told me to do, man. Get these kids in shape. Get these kids out of the streets. Get these kids, you know, they're bullying and help them out. You know, it's just amazing, man. You know, and then good people just walk into your life. Sergio, this guy, Spencer, they just walk into my life and they give me stuff. You know, they help me and I feel wanted and I feel good. So I gotta give back to the community. You know, it's amazing.